Hey guys, it's Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Today I've got a lesson kind of demonstrating how I tackle difficult sections of lead licks or even rhythms that are kind of beyond my ability level, and how I use a metronome to kind of break it down and use speed bursts and stuff. So it's a pretty simple method, but it can be very effective to get this kind of stuff underneath your fingers. So you can see in the beginning, I played kind of like some kind of more slower, soulful licks, and then I threw this little kind of blistering lick in there, which you can sometimes, see in a lot of solos. I'm looking at you, Joe Bonamassa, where just out of nowhere, it's just kind of a blur of notes. Well, that little difficult, kind of more advanced lick, I've tabbed out for you guys. So first of all, you want to grab the PDF in the description of the video, and that little difficult lick I have written out for you with the picking that I was using. Now that's an economy picked lick. If you're not used to economy picking, that's great. This will kind of introduce you to the technique. I actually have an entire economy picking guitar course, video course, on my website, GuitarLessons365.com, if you're really interested in economy picking. So, but this is how I would use something like that. So I'm going to show you a few examples here. So the first example is just the lick itself. All right, so that is kind of Bonamassa-esque, where he takes like pentatonic bass stuff, very close to like Eric Johnson stuff as well, and it creates these kind of economy pick like rolling licks. So now, what I'm doing is that's straight 16th notes in example 1. So what I do is I can kind of get the tempo that I think or it is in the song. Let's say that this is going to be at a 125, so 16th notes. So I've got a metronome here. I'm going to turn it on, and that's clicking at 125 beats a minute. If you've never used a metronome, that's what that means, BPM. It means that's how many times that's beeping per minute. All right, so 16th notes, I have to play 4 notes for every beat. So we have the, if I'm playing on the beat there, just a downstroke, right? Now if I was going to play 2 notes for every beat, that downstroke is still there, down, up, down, up, down, up. So that's 8 notes. Those are called 8th notes, so that's 2 notes per beat. All right, and then 16th notes, so it's going to be 4 notes instead of, I got to double that. All right, so first you want to get that used to. You don't have to start at 125. I'm just kind of doing it for this video. So you can start it at 60, 70, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, first you want to be able to play the lick and maybe just quarter notes. So 1 per, if you're still trying to get the picking down. I might just, when I'm just trying to get it down, just the picking synchronized with it. And when you get it a little better, maybe play it at 8th notes. So it's 2 notes per beat. 1 and 2. All right, now we start having some fun. Now, to get it still feels very slow compared to where you really need to get it to, even though it might be difficult to play. Now, this concept of speed burst, what you're doing is you're creating this sensation of your hands being free, yet very controlled at the same time. So what I mean is when you're practicing something slower, you're really drilling in the technique itself. Being very precise. But then when you do a quick little burst of playing that same thing fast, it kind of tricks your mind into playing something still staying accurate because that's what your mind is used to at the moment because of all the slow practice. But when you do the burst, it frees up your hand. Your hands just do it, and they stay relaxed while they do it. But the key is to go quickly away from the burst and go back to the slow playing. So example number 2 is that's what I'm doing. I'm going to go 2 notes per beat for the first 2 beats. And then I'm going to do a little burst of 16th notes. I'm going to put 4 notes within 1 beat. So it'll sound like this. I'll turn the metronome back on. And we have this. I'll just do the first 2 eighth note groups and then that 16th note. So that'd be like this. And just stop there. One more time. Now it's very important that even if something is slower and it allows you to pick it different, like if you wanted to alternate pick this lick, it'd be a lot more difficult to play. At a slower tempo, it might not be. So, but you want to make sure you're practicing with the exact same picking technique, everything the exact same. And you want to imagine when you're playing slowly, what that sensation was when you played fast. So if I was just going to take these 2 notes, this little lick, just the first 4 notes, and then play them as a little burst. When I do that little burst, what I'm trying to get of is the sense of everything just becomes one movement, and it's just kind of a free little, free movement there. And when I practice it slow, I want to try to emulate that feel. So whatever was going on when I played fast, you want to do it the same. Like if I practiced slow like this, and then try to play it fast, that feel of slow is nowhere. It's not the same. So you want to try to make them feel the same. And the way you want it to, so you want to be able to practice the slow part, the eighth notes or the quarter notes. I'm not talking just the picking itself and the fingerings, but the feel of it itself, that feel of looseness. You want that. That's why you want to go to that speed burst, get a sense of what that feels like, and then go straight back to the slow version of it and practice the slow version, which allows you to be more accurate, but you're also practicing it with that feeling of looseness. And that's how you practice playing fast, but playing accurately as well. If you practice slowly, but not with the same feeling or sensation as it is when you play fast, when you go fast, it's not going to feel right. All right, it's going to be inaccurate. So, all right, so then we'll go through the entire example, going from 2 groups of 8 notes to a 16th. So basically 4 notes at half speed, and then 4 notes at full speed. So that'll sound like this. This is example 2 all the way through. Again. All right, so we were working on little sections of that lick in 16th notes, and then the rest 8th notes. Then we'll reverse it, so each section of the lick gets the 16th note treatment and the 8th note as well. So now we're going to start with 16th notes, then go to 8th, 16th, 8th. So now we're doing the reverse of what we just did. This is example 3. All right, so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to really, if you are just quickly going a little speed burst, your hand doesn't really have time to get tense. And that's what slows you down. That's what slows everybody down, is tension. So we're trying to avoid that. So in the beginning, you keep the burst to just 4 notes. And then as you get better at it, you can do longer bursts. You can actually do shorter bursts too. You can practice the lick. I won't have this tabbed out, but you can just do 2 notes slow, 2 notes fast. So being able to do that and then reverse that, start with 2 fast licks and then 2 slow licks. two slow notes. That is how you can really get your hand around this and master like every little section of it. And come up with your own ways of doing it. And then as you get better at it, you extend the length of the speed burst. So instead of just doing two groups, just four, notes fast, you do 8, so or 6 or 8. So you have this like. So I did 8 notes fast in there. All right, so you can just keep going with it till eventually you can just feels, you can practice the whole thing slow and then fast. All right, so this is an easy thing to understand, but if you're not used to using a metronome, it can be kind of a challenge. So you really want to focus on playing with that metronome, locking in with those rhythms, and you'll really see that your technique stays very solid because everything stays together when you go to the slow stuff. And then you get that feeling of freedom and still accuracy when you go fast. And this, in my opinion, is the quickest way to get to getting fast licks underneath your fingers very accurately. It's worked for me and hundreds of students, and I still use it every day in my practice. So I hope you guys enjoy this and get something out of it. It doesn't have to be lead licks, it can be rhythms as well. Just put it to a metronome and challenge yourself with those bursts, and I think you'll see a lot of improvement very quickly. All right, I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.